The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host and or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of the host and or Paranormal Buzz Radio and or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is prohibited. Paranormal Buzz Radio will not be held responsible for you holding your knees, crying, and rocking in a corner in a puddle of your own urine, or being beheaded by a group of children in a cornfield. In fact, if you come across a group of children in a cornfield, we promise to make fun of you as you run away screaming in terror. Listener discretion is advised. You are now entering the all-consuming realm of Shea's Paranormal Chat, where the things that are better left unsaid are actually said.
Shut up and sit down.
You're listening to Shea's Paranormal Chat. Paranormal podcasting done Shea's way. Tons of fun.
Dude, seriously?
A bit sarcastic.
Hashtag investigator, not hunter.
But always real.
Hashtag data, not evidence.
Don't get your panties in a twist.
Oh my god, really?
This is real, raw conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody. TGIF. And of course, welcome to Shea's Paranormal Chat. I'm so excited for tonight. We have Tina Marie. I love saying it, the psychic detective. How you doing tonight?
I'm good.
You excited as me? Just lie. Say yes.
I'm not going to lie. I'm very excited to be back on the show. So thank you very much for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
Oh, I'm so happy you're here. So happy. And for everybody that's out there listening, Kelly is going to try to join us in a little bit. No guarantees, but she is trying. So before we get going, I'm going to do my initial shout outs because I'm horrible at it and it doesn't let me scroll all the way at the end. So I do it at the beginning and the end. So if you're not in chat yet, thank you for listening. If you're listening to a replay, we also appreciate that. So far in chat, of course, we have Darren. We have Len Dorman. Hello, Len. Welcome to the show. We have Psychic Gen B, Wolf, Adam, Matt. And I'm sure more will come as I do it. Len says it's first time being here tonight, so be gentle. No guarantees in this show, but we will try. So, back to the guest. So, Tina, let's start at the beginning in case anybody listening doesn't really know who you are. You're a psychic medium, correct?
Correct.
Okay. When did you first realize that you had a gift?
As far back as I can remember, I believe I was 5 or 6 years old when I first realized that something was different. I started seeing a man in the house that I grew up in. He died in the house that I grew up in the county. I live in New Jersey. Most people know that follow me. I live in Burlington County, New Jersey. I'm still in the county that I grew up in. And I saw the man. And like most people, I hated my basement. So that's basically what happened. I used to have deja vu, even at a young age. And I would tell my mom about different things. And my mom never, ever discouraged me. She just told me not to tell her. So, yeah, that's how it started.
So she didn't discourage you, but she just didn't want to know about it?
Yeah, she would tell me, don't tell me.
Oh.
Yeah, and she grew up in the Catholic church.
Yeah,
And,
I hear that a lot.
Yeah, so, and that's good. Now she's very proud of me, and, she wants to hear it, but she's 76,
Right.
but, back then she was like, just don't tell me. So
it took her some time, but she came around. There's some people that never come around.
Yeah.
So.
And it's hard. It's like, you work now. I mentor a couple people, and the age range is like I have a couple young kids, I have a couple middle of the road that I've been working with, and then I have a couple older, trying to be nice because they're might be listening. A couple of them are older than me. I'm 52, who suppressed it when they were young because you weren't allowed to talk about it, and you just didn't talk about it because you weren't allowed. So,
I hear a lot, and let me know if you agree or disagree. I hear a lot from psychics or mediums that when they're young, they realized that they had a gift, but the family reacted so bad that sometimes they shut it down for years.
Oh yeah, or they took them to a psychiatrist, and that's horrible to do to your child. And then they either locked the kid up or they gave them drugs to know them, and a lot of them I find even today do drugs and alcohol to quell the voices, and they're told they're schizophrenic, and they're not schizophrenic. They literally hear voices, you know?
It's so. I also think, and this is my personal opinion, I also think that even people with mental health, even if they are schizophrenic, that doesn't mean they're also not gifted. It's like a fine line. There's nothing saying somebody that is absolutely schizophrenic doesn't have gifts. It's hard to figure out what's what, but hopefully someday it will be more mainstream and it'll be easier to figure out what's what.
It is starting to become more mainstream only because more and more people are starting to talk about it.
Yeah.
We are so lucky now in 2019 than we were even 5 years ago. I've been doing this for 30 years. So even 5 years ago, they didn't talk about it. And then you go back 10 years or 20 years, so we're more fortunate now than we were 5 years ago. People are starting to talk about it, or they'll come up to you. I'm lucky because I still live in the same area, and they'll be like, can I tell you something? I'm in the store, and I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, you can tell me something, and then you stand there and you listen to them because that's what you do.
Right.
You listen to them. I can't help everybody, but that's what you do. Anybody that works in the field, I've worked with some incredible people. That's what we do. That's why we do what we do, because you're there to help them.
Exactly.
So,
and you might be that only person's outlet.
Yeah.
He might not have anybody else that will be accepting of whatever this is they need to share. So, Good for you for listening.
Thanks.
I was lucky. My family, although I've told it before, my grandmother was Roman Catholic, very strict Roman Catholic, but very open when it came to paranormal, and my whole family was. So I was very lucky.
Yeah. My great grandparents came from Sicily. My gift, honestly, I can trace back. I was able to trace back where my ability came from. So they just didn't talk about it, apparently.
As they didn't talk about much back then.
Right, exactly. But it's there. I mean,
yep.
And growing up Catholic, there's some things you don't talk about. I'm fortunate that who I've worked with over the years has had faith and trust in my ability. I mean, and most people know I basically have worked with law enforcement, but the teams and the people I've worked with have had the faith and trust in me to believe in what I do enough that, that I've just been lucky. So I can't say enough about, the people I've worked with. I don't have anything bad to say, so I've been lucky.
We need more of that in this field.
Mm-hmm.
We really do. So since you brought it up and you've worked with law enforcement, when and how did that start?
Well, I have 2 degrees. I went to school for nursing and criminal justice, and it kind of just took to my lap. So it happened around the early 1990s. I really can't talk too much about how I got into it, but that's about when I started doing it. My first case was at a local level. Then I did a federal case, and then it just went from there. And I've worked with all different levels. I prefer to work with the state and up. I worked a lot with one detective in my county level who no longer is alive. I did a lot of work with him on different cases. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. But they know where to find me, and that's how it works.
I know because of what it is you do, you can't speak in too much detail. I just want to make sure the listeners understand that. It's not that you don't want to. You're not allowed to. We sign non-disclosures, or I will have them sign a non-disclosure. I'm pretty well trained. Most of the people that have worked with me on a team know that. The law enforcement people that are listening, they know what the deal is. So you just don't talk about it. I've seen people write about their cases. That's a no-no. You just don't do that. They need some confidentiality. I don't care whether the body is recovered or not. You just don't do that. I don't do that, I should say. That's something that I wouldn't do. I have, I'm not articulating myself right tonight. I'm sorry. You're on the right show for that. Don't worry. Give me a few minutes.
I have a Facebook page like that, like my Tina Marie Williamson page, but then I have, I think it's the South Tina Marie, the South Jersey Medium, and I have, if people go there, they'll see, like, recently a case I worked on 3 years ago, and I begged, and one of the guys who I do a couple cold cases with, we went to a site, and I'm like, this is where they're going to find him. It was a double homicide, and we wrote letters and told the family, and this is where you're going to find him. Finally, 3 years later, they found stuff. I mean, so it's not always how we think it's going to work out. So I do write some things on my Facebook page, like it's about time, or I'll say thank you to a different department, but I usually won't say the family's name, and
Right.
you never, and like when they say, oh, I have letters from the police department thanking me. Well, it doesn't always work that way because, you could hold a gun to a Fed's head and they're not going to say that a medium solved the case for you. We're just a tool. We're a tool like everything else. We don't solve the case. We help. That's how it rolls. That's how it goes. So,
Yeah. No, I get that.
They're not going to say that somebody solved the case for them.
They don't even like doing that when it's like the FBI and the state police or a local department. They still want all the credit. Like they'll fight over.
And that's fine. And that's fine. That's fine. I don't have an issue. Honest to God, I don't have an issue with that. I've been doing this too long. I have certificates. People, I'm sure you've talked to some of the people I've worked with. I have certificates in my office that are not even hanging on the walls. They're like literally on a shelf laying flat on a shelf, like not even hanging on the wall. Like, I mean, I'm pretty humble. Like I'm not a big...
You don't do it for recognition. You do it to help.
Yeah, I do it to help. That at the end of the day, if you can, it's not even closure. I quoted one time a parent who told the detective when we did a recovery. It was one of the cases that made the ID channel. A couple of my cases have made the ID channel, and the parent said to the detective, I don't have closure because we made a recovery. I don't have closure. I have resolution.
Yeah.
Closure is when I see them when I'm in heaven. And I was like, wow, how profound is that?
It's true. Closure is when something ends. And when you lose somebody, especially, I can speak from personal experiences, when it's not a natural death, when somebody takes the life of somebody you love, there's no closure because it doesn't stop. You heal a little bit here and there, but there's no closure. It's just something you feel until you're no longer here.
Yeah, I was just like, wow, I go and do what I got to do, but at the end of the day, I don't know how that person feels.
Right.
So yeah, that's what we do. We do it, and, you hope that you help them a little bit.
Here's a question for you from chat from Sarah Hyatt. I hope I said that right. Hat. I'm horrible at pronouncing names. I can't even say my own name, so please don't take it personally. And I'm not even joking. I can't say my first and last name together. So she wants to know, and there are no silly questions, Sarah, but she wants to know, how do agencies use your information in court? Do they call you as an expert witness?
That is why they will not admit that they used a medium. That is an excellent question.
Yep.
That is why they will not admit that they used a medium, because they will not call you to testify in court. I'll use a perfect example. The town I live in, there was a murder. I had the family reach out to me when the case became cold. A cold case is when the case becomes cold after 6 months. The family was given my name. They reached out to me. I worked the case like I would work the case for if law enforcement came to me. I put the file together. I called the detective that was working the case. I said, here's the information. The detective said, I don't want no parts of this. How am I supposed to go to a judge and tell the judge that I have the perpetrator, they're going to laugh at me.
Yeah.
So that was a good question. So here the case remains, what's it, 2 years it's been since he was shot? 2 years, shot point blank. The case is cold and open still. I gave them a name, and they can't use it because the detective said to me, I can't go to a judge and tell him how I got this information.
But law enforcement has, this is what I don't understand. Law enforcement have tip lines that you can call anonymously. So what's the difference? It's if somebody calls a tip line anonymously, it says, hey, I don't like this person, and there's a good chance he had something to do with it. They still look into it. So I don't understand the difference. A lead is a lead.
I went through the whole shebang with them.
I didn't mean for you. I just meant for law enforcement
itself.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
but that was an excellent question. There is no such thing as any kind of question. I mean, all questions are good. So
that's how I felt. So I saw on the People's Court years ago. Years ago now, that this couple tried to sue their real estate person for selling them a haunted house. And of course, she heard the case and everything, but at the end she's like, well, I can't prove your house is haunted. I can't prove that paranormal exists, so therefore I have to throw the case out because without proof I can't, So I can see how it's a very thin line, but to not follow a lead is crazy to me.
It is insane. I worked a case in the town over. I had a family, perfect example is I had a family that came to me. Their daughter was missing for 12 years. 12 years. That's Paul in the background.
I hear him. Hi, Paul.
Hey, honey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good now that I'm with Tina.
She was missing for 12 years. They were told she went to Florida to live in a tent city. I was like, no. So I went, I told them, you cannot, I don't. I know there are other people that do it their own way. The way that I was taught by my mentor and the way that I work is that I don't go looking for the case. The case has to come to me. So the case came to me in the town next to where I reside, and she'd been missing for 12 years. I took them to a place in the woods. I was like, this is where you need to go. The two detectives took me into a room. They interrogated me. I had one of them screaming. They filmed it. The one screamed at me for 15 minutes? At least 15 minutes. He was screaming at me. He's like, I know you're the FBI. I'm like, I'm not the FBI. After 15 minutes, he's like, are you willing to go with me to where you're telling me she's at? And I'm like, yes, I will take you there. So the three of us and Paul go to the woods. I take them to where I'm almost like, I was 98% sure she was, because you never say you're 100% sure or you run from the person.
Exactly.
And we're walking in the woods, and the one detective is talking to me, and he's like, he was okay. The other one was just an ass. So the one said something to me, and I'm like, what is IA? Why do I keep seeing IA? And he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I don't know. I keep seeing these initials. Like, what does that mean? And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, yes, you do. This person that's around you keeps telling me to tell you this. So finally, after 5 minutes, he's like, I'm the internal affairs officer for our department. I'm like, okay. I was like, was that so hard? So then the next thing you know, he looks down and he's scooping something up. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, I need a baggie. And I'm like, okay. So he gets a baggie, and it looked like a patella, your knee bone. So I'm like, oh my God, like he's got a piece of human bone. He's like, this is a deer bone. I'm almost 100% sure. And I'm like, no, it's not.
Oh.
And like a couple weeks later, I think it was a month later, the family called me, and they recovered her. So yeah. So I mean, that it's just that it was crazy, you know, how it all works. Like, and they never called me to tell me they recovered, or the family called me, you know, and I was able to tell them who did it. I told them who they needed to. I said, if you give me pictures, I will tell you who she was last with. And they showed me the pictures, and I pointed them out, and they said they had questioned him. So then they believed me.
Wow.
So, yeah. I mean, so that was it played out different than the other clowns. So it's interesting how different departments will work with you, but you've been gone for 12 years, so what do you do?
Yeah, and I think it also depends on their belief, if they've ever experienced it, or who's in charge and what they believe. And I mean, there's no reason to ever yell at somebody like that, but
it was crazy. I've never seen anything like that ever in my life. What I had with me was, why they kept screaming at me like that, was the family knew somebody, and what happened was they knew somebody from the Newark office of the FBI. So the FBI furnished me with a letter saying that they needed to cooperate with me.
Wow.
And that's what I had in my possession. I still have the copy of the letter in their file, because I told you last time I was on, I keep a copy of all the files in my office. And so I still have a copy of the file, and they were like, you're the FBI. I'm like, oh, God, shut up. You know, Paul's like, you should have just read him. And I was like, you can't do that. But, you know.
Have you?
It was crazy.
I get sensitive about reading people without permission, so.
Yeah, I don't do that, but, like, there's times, like, you really just want to be like, listen.
Just to shut him up, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, your grandmother says, shut up. You know well and good that the paranormal exists.
Yeah, right? Oh, my goodness. It was probably give them a heart attack.
Now, as a psychic medium, or psychic and medium, because sometimes they're two different things, how do you get your information? How do you get the impressions? Are they visual in your mind? Do they just appear? I
get the clairs. Or you mean the clairs? Like, which clairs do I have?
Yes.
I see, I hear, I get the taste. Sometimes I get smell. I have clairescence. I also I use psychometry.
Okay.
So I will request, when I'm working a case, I'll request a picture from the chest up, and I will request an object that the person carried on their person. Or if they don't have that, I will request usually like a hairbrush or a toothbrush or something like that.
Something personal.
Something personal.
Now,
And,
does it play almost like snapshots or a movie, or is it more symbolism?
Like a reel to reel.
Yeah. Okay.
Like a reel to reel. Yep.
Has it always been that way, or did you have to?
Always been that way.
Always. So you've been
Always.
strong from the get-go.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
The smell one, I can't say the Claire. The only one I
Claire
can remember
essence?
is psychometry.
It's clairescent. It's
Clairescence, like
the smell.
essence. I should remember that.
Essence.
Essence.
Yep.
That must be the worst one.
It is very hard when you are working a murder case and you have clairescence. Yes.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, no,
I
the
think a lot
visuals are
of
bad
it-
enough, but
Yeah.
the smell is. I'm very sensitive to smell, so.
It is, I will tell you, when we were going to investigate the Hinsdale house, we were a half hour from there, 45 minutes out. I thought I was going to die in the car, literally die. I said to Paul, I'm like, I'm going to be sick. And he's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I smell death. And it's the smell that you get when you're like, when I'm at a murder, like at a scene, like at a dig. And I was like, I know Vicks. He makes fun of me because I buy like the little Vicks sticks.
Yep.
I don't know if you know what I mean.
I do.
I'm like constantly using my Vicks stick. I didn't have one with me. And I'm like, I'm going to be sick. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, you don't smell that? Like, and he's like, I know that I smell and see and taste different things that other people don't. But I'm like, it was horrendous in the car. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die. And
They
he's
say
like,
once
fine.
you smell that, you know it and you never forget.
Yep. You never forget. And I'm
Now,
like,
have you ever smelt it in real life? Or
yeah.
Okay, that's what yeah. So you know it.
Oh, yeah. So you know it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and when even at home, if I'm working a case, unfortunately, I have smelt that smell because sometimes when I'm working a case, I get stuff at home. So, yeah.
You get what at home?
I will get some of the residual from the case.
Ah, yeah.
At home. Yeah.
Have you ever had a victim just randomly show themselves and ask for help?
Yep. In our bed, actually, the case I was talking to you about.
That's what I was wondering. Yep.
The girl that was missing for 12 years showed herself in our bedroom for the whole week before I found her. And I got up. I think I got up and was in the other room. Paul was still laying in bed. And did she talk to you? What happened?
I was laying in bed. Next thing you know, I was standing next to the bed looking down at myself, laying there. I was on the cell phone, and I heard this woman's voice say, tell Tina she's doing heroin at the party. And I'm like, excuse me? She says, by this time, when you're like, when the energy's talking to you, if you don't hear them the first time, they get upset with you. But then all of a sudden she says, tell Tina she's doing heroin at the party. Well, next thing you know, I was back in bed. I was sitting up. Tina comes in, and I'm like, Tina, I'm supposed to tell you that this woman's doing heroin at the party. She knew what I was talking about because it was the case that she's working on. I didn't know what the hell I was talking about, but she knew.
I thought he was having a dream. I'm like, what? I'm like, but I knew exactly what he was talking about because it was my case. I'm like, okay.
Now, to my knowledge, Paul is not a medium, is he?
Paul,
he has gifts, but
yes, he has gifts. He's not a medium.
Okay.
He has gifts.
Okay. So,
but he's not a medium.
Must have been even odder.
It was really crazy, and I'm like, but I knew exactly what he was talking about because it was my case, and I'm like, okay. But that was my case, and that week I found, it was the week that, we recovered her body. Yes. So
you weren't
crazy.
listening, so she had to go to somebody else to make you listen.
Exactly. And it's not just me. It would be anybody that lives with a medium or anybody in your house. Anybody, if you have a relative that's trying to get your attention and you're not paying attention, they will go to the next person. So, the signs are there, and if you're not paying attention, they're going to get it one way or another. We laugh when we hear... I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Keep going.
We laugh, like, when you hear about poltergeist activity, but all it really is them trying to get your attention.
True.
They just want your attention, so pay attention.
I don't understand how people in the paranormal can doubt psychics and mediums so much. And I'm not saying to believe every single person that says they're psychic or medium. That's not what I mean. But I don't understand how some people can hear disembodied voices and still not think that this can happen all the time to somebody. Because, like you said, Paul heard this. It's the same as a disembodied voice. You have to get enough energy. But if the person receiving it can hear better than me, which most can not, and I don't mean hear as in living here with the air, of course they're going to pick it up better, clearer, more often. They're like a beacon. They're going to get the information a lot quicker than if we did. They're talking about true crime in the chat now. Let's see. We had a question here somewhere. Yes, I like true crime. Yes. Yeah. See, my dream job would be like a detective, or even like you, a psychic detective, except I'm not psychic and I don't work in law enforcement, so I don't see that dream ever coming true. But I can dream.
Yeah, but you wouldn't want to do this. I mean, you really, it's not what people, it really is not what
the
people
psychic part, no. I wouldn't want to actually see it and feel it and smell it. No, definitely. I missed a question somewhere. I'll have to keep looking. When you get your information, or you said it kind of plays like a reel. Now, do you see it as a third party watching, or do you see it from the victim's point of view?
Most of the time, I see it from the victim. I get asked that a lot when I do lectures. I get, usually what they'll do is they'll walk me through the last 24 hours of their life so that I get to see the whole thing.
Led up to it.
And that is not pretty. That's why I said it, it is very upsetting and disturbing to me, the number of people that claim that they are psychic mediums, and they say that they do this stuff, because, there are people that do this stuff for real, and you can ask any one of us, this is not a glamour job.
No.
It is really not. It is the most unpleasant thing to have to do, to see, to watch. It's just not pleasant.
And it can take an emotional and physical toll on your soul, on yourself, on your body.
Paul's sitting here shaking his head. Like, there's days I cry, like, you just cry because you're just like, I don't know how much more you can take. Like, and then you always, like, you're like, not going to do this for like a month. I'm going to take a month off, and the phone rings in 2 hours, and you're writing down the next case. Like, you just, because you can't say no, especially when it's a kid.
Yeah.
Or, so it takes a toll on you. It just, and there's so many people missing. There's so many people. We have a whole demographic. The FBI, there's a whole demographic of Native Americans that friggin' haven't even been in. There's no account for these people that haven't been done yet. So it's so important for us to be aware. They have the trafficking, that part, that there's people, these kids get picked up, they get online and they don't realize how easy it is to get swept up into something. So, it's so important for people to do what we do. And, you do weed out the real from the unreal.
Yep.
So that's my little soapbox thing.
No, I get it. I'm attempting. I don't know how this is going to work. I'm going to attempt to add Kelly to the call. So if it hangs up, please just call back. I've never done this before. So let's see if we can do this. All right. We might have just lost the guest. I'm not sure yet. Hey.
Hello.
You
How's
are
it
live.
going?
Good, but I think I hung up on my guest.
Oh, whoops.
I told her if it hangs up, call right back. Oh, no, I'm on. Hold on, let's see. All right, let's see. How do I do this? I told her. All right, let's see. Hello?
Hello?
Now she's on hold. Skype is so much fun today. I'm telling you. Don't you love live radio? Let's try it this way. Let's see. All right, I should be able to join the two now. It just took a second. All right, we have Kelly. Do we have Tina?
Yes.
There we go.
Hey, look at me causing trouble. Hello. How are you?
Hello.
I'm so sorry I'm on late, guys.
All right. You guys got to meet last weekend.
We did. It was super fun. So, yeah. It's so nice to be able to actually get, to put real faces with the names and just meet somebody.
You forgot to take Paul home with you.
No. I said that I hadn't signed up for that, remember?
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah, you tried, but I hadn't had enough to drink quite yet. No, it was so nice to meet you guys out there, and that was a super fun weekend.
It was very nice to meet you face to face.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Do you have any questions, Kelly?
What were you guys talking about? How's it going?
It's going awesome. Yeah. I'm so excited.
I would ask questions, but I'm sure I would just repeat questions that you guys have probably already talked about. So, not sure what to ask. Unless, of course, you guys.
Question. What was that?
Oh, I was going to say, unless, of course, you guys want to, do I have any volunteers to come and finish cleaning my house for the graduation party tomorrow? Is that a question?
No.
No, that doesn't count? Damn. No. Okay,
I couldn't even get there in time.
This is true. This is very true.
Let's see. I forget who asked this question, but somebody asked, what was the scariest case you were on?
It would be Hinsdale House, no doubt about it. As an investigating, it would be Hinsdale House.
Yeah.
Yep. That's just a crazy place. I mean, so what kind of stuff did you get when you were at Hinsdale?
Well, we stayed for 2 nights. We probably could have got one more night, and it would have just totally, like, I would have lost my mind. And first night there, it was like a typical haunted house. There's inside the house is haunted. Outside the house has its own stuff going on. It's separately. It's Native American stuff and elementals, and then you have. We had a child that visited me that drowned in the pond, and I had a male that followed me around for 2 days that was not a nice person. Him and his brother had killed people, and he followed me for the whole time we were there. And then the first night wasn't so horrific, but the second night, oh man, we took a turn. The one person that was with us and myself stayed up the second night. We were the 2 that were awake the second night, and we were in the kitchen watching the monitors, and we were wide awake. We were totally awake, and we hear this guttural growl. And I will never, ever, ever in my life forget what that sounded like. We looked at each other. Yeah, and I was like, yeah, it was not pleasant there. No. Nope.
That's just crazy.
Nope. It was, I mean, we were with a team, and, you know, it was something. It was something. Yeah.
It's just...
It was an incredible... I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine. I was just going to say, there's so many different layers, it seems like, you know. It's not just one spirit or one time frame, or it's not even all from the house being there. There's so many different things.
Oh, my God. Everybody that's an investigator that wants to experience like the total haunt should go to that house. I like, no lie, you need more than one night, though. People that go and only go for one night aren't going to experience the total package. You need 2 nights there, because the first night it's just going to play with you. Like, you need the second night, because that's when it gets real.
Right.
And you need, people don't understand. Kelly, you're still there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. The people don't understand, like, when you're a psychic medium and you tell your team you got to be on your A game, nobody can go into a place like that when you have something not right. If you're not stable, or if you have an illness, or because a place like that knows when something's not right, and it will mess with you. You know, it goes to the weakest link, and it will mess you up.
Most definitely.
It was something. That was the most haunted place I have ever been in my 30 years. I've seen some crazy stuff in my time, but That was the worst.
Yeah.
And I felt safe with the people I was with there. I'm being real. I felt safe with the people I was with there. It had nothing to do with the team I was with. It was the house that was crazy.
Well,
and I love Dan, please.
Yeah. Well, and I told Dan, because I'm pretty good friends with Dan. I was telling him after I'd been out there, I said, you hear about all these places that they're so hyped up and there's so many people talking about there's this and there's that, and you just never quite know what you're walking into and how much of that is really real. I said, this lived up to it, absolutely. I said I didn't know what to expect, but it is a crazy place, and I didn't even get to be in there and really truly investigate. I just happened to be he hosts a psychic fair, and he invited me out there to be one of the guest readers. But since I was there, we went to the house, and the people that were there were wonderful. They let us come in, and I got to do a walk around and feel it out and stuff. But yeah, it's just I feel you on that one, most definitely.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So we slept like all together, like really like in a pack, because it was so crazy. Like we didn't separate because like it was so crazy. I mean, yeah, it was something.
We have a couple recap questions in the chat here. One of them, you already said you can see cold case crimes. Can you also see recent ones, like real recent ones?
I see recent crimes? Is that what they're asking? I have worked on recent crimes. I do work recent homicides.
And can you, when the victim takes you through their last 24 hours, I don't know how to word this, so excuse me if it doesn't sound nice, but can you actually see the incident itself, right? Like, does it take you all the way through the end, up to the crime?
All the way, yeah.
All the way through.
Yep, all the way through.
So,
yep.
That's what I saw another one somewhere.
That's got to be hard.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times they'll tell me what happened, or they'll give me just a tiny little snippet, but the only place that they've ever walked me through it finished to end was Villisca, which was brutal. But that's got, and I guess that's what I'm comparing it to, is I know what it felt like to be walked through every single step of Villisca. I can't imagine what it's like to be shown that all the time. How do you deal with that? I mean, how does that affect you?
What, Paul?
It takes a lot out of you.
I've been doing it for so long, I don't even know how to answer that. Paul just said, Paul's here, and he's like, it takes a lot out of you. I'm just so used to it that I kind of shut myself down. I have a whole list of things when I go to a site and do stuff that, like, I compartmentalize everything, I think. I don't know how to answer. Honestly, I don't know how to answer that. I am, people think I'm very standoffish. A lot of people that meet me, and they think that, I'm very unapproachable. It's not that I'm like that. Because once you meet me, I'm not what I appear. It's just that I have to be unemotional, because otherwise I would be like a blubbering idiot all the time. Well, I
think when we do what we do, we have to be careful with our energy. I think that's probably the easiest way. We have to be careful and protective of our energy, and sometimes that does make us seem a little bit standoffish.
Yeah.
But when the case is over,
I come home and cry.
I was going to say, do you allow yourself time to grieve, because it's an emotional thing you're dealing with? So you give yourself time to feel it, grieve it.
Most of the time, sometimes I don't have time because the phone's already ringing to do something else. It honestly depends on what's happening.
So when it hits you all at once.
Yeah, I mean, I've had 3 cases running at one time. So it honestly, I can't answer that because it just depends. It just depends on what the caseload is. And then in between, we investigate, do our thing besides besides trying to help with a cold case, or if something comes up and a family reaches out to you, we still do our thing. So not as much because we're starting to get older, but we still do.
Oh my God, you are not.
Yeah, we're like getting to be mid-50s, so yeah.
Oh, stop it.
So yeah.
That's not possible. No, I refuse to believe that. Nope.
That's not old.
I didn't say it was old. We're getting older.
Older. Okay. All right.
Older.
I'm younger than you, and let me tell you, I'm probably older than you. Physically, I'm probably older than everybody put together.
I'll tell you what, after last weekend, I felt pretty damn old. I was so tired.
Hey, they already released the date for next year. So
I know. I've got it in my calendar.
Which one? You'll have to remind me. Which one did you guys meet at?
It was the New Jersey Para-Unity Expo.
Thank you.
Which was phenomenal. It was
really, really good. I was talking about that today, and I was confusing it. I wasn't sure if that was the Ocean State Paracon or the New Jersey Expo. I'm like, it's one of them.
Ocean State's next weekend for you, isn't it?
No, I'm going to the main Paracon, but there is an Ocean State one coming up. I just couldn't remember which one is which.
Well, see, I'm getting them confused too.
There's too many. Here's a good question. Are you able to see crimes of your choosing? For example, are you able to see who killed Elizabeth Short?
This is how I work. If I'm given a case, if somebody approaches me with a case, I will work on the case. I am not 100% accurate. I'm just keeping it real. I can't guarantee that I can do any case. I do the best I can. My accuracy rate is 95%. Some say it's 97%, depends on who you talk to. I do the best I can. But I don't answer questions like that.
She was just saying, for example, I don't think she was asking who did it, but like, I think it goes back to like where the victim approached you. But can you choose it yourself without giving out names? You don't even have to bring in the name to it, but like if you just like say that case looks interesting, can you choose to feel something, see something, if the energy's there?
No, I can't. I don't do stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't. That's not what I do. I have to have the case brought to me.
Yeah.
That's not it. Ethically, I don't do stuff like that.
Right. Yep.
I mean, I took a whole ethics course. I've taken government classes and different classes. That's not how I do it. Some people do their own thing, and they do however they do it. I choose not to do that. So, it has to come to me. If there was an emergency and they said, can you look at this real quick? And they put something in front of me. Maybe I would do it. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I could probably do it quickly if I had to. I do remote viewing extremely well. That's how I found a 2-year-old. I was in New Jersey and they were in North Dakota in less than 12 hours. So I don't know if that helps answer your question.
No, it does. It does. I think it was just a matter of how you work versus what, not why, but how you work. But I think it answered it really well. And she said that's exactly what she meant. She didn't mean to ask who did it. She was just questioning the abilities and how they worked. So,
yeah.
I had another question, but now I forget. There's nothing new there. Here's another one. Have you ever been able to help an innocent person who has been wrongfully accused or imprisoned? Have you ever been able to, like, clarify it?
I am part of the Innocence Project.
Nice.
So most people know what that is.
Yeah.
If they don't, it is a project to help prisoners that are locked up that have been wrongly accused of horrific, not even horrific crimes, of any crime, and have been locked up. And lawyers, there are different people from the different fields of law that try to help get these people, their cases reheard and exonerated from prison.
It's a great cause.
Thank you.
I am a big fan of it because not only of what they do, but how they do it, because you have to meet certain criteria to get help. It's not just like you can say, hey, I'm innocent. There has to be something substantial behind it. So, and it's proven quite a few people that I can just think off the top of my head helped get them out of jail. So,
yep.
That's just crazy. Yeah. I was trying to figure out how to put into words what I was going to ask.
It's hard because you want to be sensitive at the same time. At least me. That's why I'm having.
Yeah, it's just how do I word?
You can just say it.
Oh, do you ever? And I'm asking this as one sensitive to another because I think, I mean, just from meeting you, I loved your energy and I think we'd get along really well. Do you ever find yourself kind of saying, why did I get this gift? You know, how do you rationalize that to yourself when you start asking that question?
Sometimes I used to hate it. And I used to question myself all the time. And I wondered why I got it and nobody else in my family got it. Mm-hmm. But then, I stopped questioning it, and I realized that I got it for a reason. Maybe just because I'm the stronger one out of the three of my family. But I still do that sometimes. I question it quite often. I do it all the time. Mm-hmm. I do it all the time. I'm sure most people do that have the true ability. Like, why? Especially when we see stuff that most normal people in their lifetime will never see.
And you can't unsee it.
Right.
Once you see something, you
can't
unsee it.
No, you can't. You can never unsee. You can never unsee some of the stuff.
And it's it's not just that you saw it and you remember it. It's at least for me, because of the way it was shown to me, it's superimposed on my brain. I will never forget what it looked like when I walked out of that attic in Villisca. I will never forget every detail. It was, I don't know.
It sounds like it's imposed your heart too. It's an emotional
Oh,
thing.
God, yeah.
You feel it. You don't just see it. You feel it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the worst part, is I think the emotional, what you feel. I think for me, when you feel deep down the feeling, for me.
Do you feel it from their point of view? I mean, because it's bad enough feeling it, watching and feeling it for yourself, like just. But what about, do you feel it from their point of view? Do you feel what they're feeling?
I did when I did how I met one of my friends. It's really funny. If I have a couple minutes, I'll tell you. How I met one of my very dear friends is she was following Paul, actually, and I kept looking at her picture. I was very drawn to her picture, and I was like, you know, I really need to talk to this person. He's like, okay. And I'm like, I really need to talk to her. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, can you get her phone number? And he's like, just ask her if she'll talk to you. So I asked her if I could talk to her. And she was all excited. And I'm like, why is this lady excited to talk to me? She thought I was going to give her a free reading. And I wasn't. I was going to tell her something not really good, but so she, I asked her if she could talk to me, and she's like, sure. So she's like, when I got her on the phone, she's like, oh my God, I'm so glad that you wanted to talk to me. She's like, I knew you would talk to me and tell me about my husband that recently died. I'm like, excuse me? Her husband had died, and she thought I was going to give her a message from him. And I'm like, no. I was like, do you know anybody in Florida, that was in Florida? And she got dead quiet. And she's like, yes. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, I need to give you a message. And then I proceed to tell her about what played out. And I literally saw the whole murder-suicide play out with the shotgun, and he kidnapped her. And I go through the whole thing, and she's like, oh, my God, that was my cousin. And I was like, so that's how I met her. She's one of the dearest friends that I have. I love her greatly. So, Dar, if you're listening, I love you. She's been one of my closest friends, and stuff like that, it's ingrained, and the emotion of him grabbing her and then carrying out what he carried out, that has stayed with me from the moment I watched the whole thing play out. You don't ever lose that. And people think, oh, you forget it because you see so many other things. No, you don't.
There's some things that just absolutely stick with you. It doesn't matter how hard you try to forget them. You can try to forget, and they're not going to go away.
I must have saved myself for weeks after I saw that. And I can laugh about it now, and I'm not laughing because of what I saw. I'm laughing because, I think of, I must have saved myself for, 3 or 4 weeks after that, just trying to get, it all. And it's it's still there.
Yeah.
It's still there.
Yo.
So,
it's kind of like building a card house. Just because there's more layers on top, the bottom layer is still there.
Oh my God, yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm sorry, I describe things weird. I use metaphors and similes because sometimes people don't get it.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense, actually.
Here's a question, and it's from Darren. He's hoping it's not too sensitive, so only tell us what you want to tell us. Is there a case you regret that you worked on?
Yes. I don't regret it, but I will talk about it. I'll talk about, I don't have a problem talking a little bit about it. I was asked to consult on the Kanika Jenkins case in Chicago. And we stopped working on it. Unfortunately, a bunch of us that were working on it decided that we no longer, for safety issues, could work on it anymore.
Gotcha.
So, I don't know if you're familiar with that case.
Is it the younger girl?
She was an African-American girl.
Yeah.
That was found in the freezer. I regret.
Oh, the one where it's got the video.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know which one you're talking about.
I don't regret that I ever helped with that case. I regret that for the safety of us and our families, we needed to stop working on it because I'm trying to watch my words.
No, we get you. I think you don't have to go into too much detail. I think we get what you're saying.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, the case had to be stopped.
How about investigation, like paranormal-wise, without the cold case stuff? Any locations that you'll never go back to?
Yeah, there's one place that I don't think I'll go back to. Not because
my bad. If that's the same one as Paul, I wasn't supposed to ask about it.
It's okay.
I'm so sorry.
Okay. It's all right. You're fine. It's okay.
So we won't mention where. Don't ask where, guys, in the chat. But go on. So I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. You're okay. You're okay.
Open mouth, insert foot.
It's all right.
So when you guys may have already asked this, and I missed it. So when you go out to do an investigation, is it primarily just you and Paul, or do you have other people on your team? Have you guys already asked that?
No, nobody asked that. Paul and I, Marcy, you met Marcy?
Yeah. Yep.
She was with us. Marcy.
She's a hoot.
Yeah. It's primarily the three of us, and occasionally Mickey and Jason, who used to be with Paul's team, DCCI. That's usually who we will do stuff with if we need more than the three of us.
Sure.
And that's who went to the Wildwood Sanitarium. We were just at Wildwood a week ago, two weeks ago.
That is one I haven't got to yet. I need to get to that one still.
Yeah, so it was something.
Are you the only one on the team then with sensitivities, or are there others?
I have the mediumship abilities. Paul has some abilities, and Paul's good with looking at some pictures, not the same way I am with pictures. And oh my God, she's howling. And but ability-wise, yeah, Marcy does the research, and that's about how we roll.
Sounds well-rounded.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
It sounds like a good team.
Yeah, we got a good crew.
Any more questions in the chat? Get them in there quick. We're at that 10-minute mark. I lie. I always make sure it's like I say the 10-minute mark a few minutes early. You'll hear
Is
it.
somebody sharpening a pencil?
That was me writing down notes. My pen died.
Oh.
Can I give a shout out to one of the firefighters that
Yes.
I promised I would give him a shout
Give out
out.
all the shout outs you want. Yes.
Okay, because I promised him I would. He better be listening. It's Marcy's dad, Darwin. He's like he's a lifelong firefighter. It's from New York State. So I promised him I would give a shout out to him.
Woo woo.
So
that's for Darwin.
Yeah.
Thank you for your services, sir.
Absolutely.
Shout out.
I'm going to make cookies for my firefighters. I was supposed to do it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's been 2 years since the fire, so I meant to do it 2 days ago when it was the thing, just to go in and say thank you to them again, but I got busy. But I'm still gonna. They live the firehouse. They don't live there, but the firehouse is literally out my back door, 30 seconds. So.
Well, that's convenient.
Yes.
I was gonna say, well, that's convenient for next time, but no next time, Shea. No next time.
No. Let me tell you.
That's not what I meant.
Let me tell you, dude. The firefighters did CPR on my dog and saved my dog.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Isn't it cool? In the back of the ambulance, they did CPR on the dog. So
it's crazy what they'll do, and they just don't even think anything of it. I don't know.
So I don't see any more questions. So why don't you?
Where are you?
What? You have one?
I was going to ask you. So where are you guys going to be coming up?
Yep, that's where I was getting to. Mm-hmm. She read my mind. She must be psychic.
We are going to be. Can I go? You want me to tell you real quick?
Yep.
Absolutely.
We got time. Yeah.
We in June we're going to be at the VIP celebrity reception in Gettysburg. Or no, I'm not Gettysburg. I'm sorry. At Penhurst. That's in July. I'm sorry. In June, we're going to be at we're going to do a private thing at the orphanage in Gettysburg. We're also, I have a charity event in June, that I do every June with the guys in my charity. So that's June's pretty done for us. And we have a private case, that involves a child. Also in July, we have the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. I think somebody invited you, Kelly.
Yeah, Eric did, but I don't know. I'm out there a few weeks before that, so I don't know that I can come back out again.
It's like the week before, isn't it?
We'll be there June 8th, and then the Gettysburg Bash is like July 17th or something.
I thought it was June 17th. Okay.
Yeah.
July something.
July 26th to the 28th is the Battlefield Bash in Gettysburg. It's like it goes towards the Wounded Warrior Fund. And then in August, we'll be in New York State for a weekend doing a private investigation, and we'll be for a weekend in the NEPA area doing a private investigation for a weekend. So that takes us through the summer.
Busy. Here's a good message.
Yeah.
From Sarah. Thank you for everything you do, Tina. As somebody who is also, hold on, I just lost my place, who is also involved with police work, although I'm merely a dispatcher, I know the toll that this kind of work can take on a person, and I am sure you know, but just in case you haven't heard it for a while, you were appreciated more than you likely know.
Thank you, Sarah. Happy Memorial Day. Thank you for what you do.
Yes, thank you.
Sarah's good people.
Yes.
I like Sarah.
I thought that was the Sarah, so I said the name the first time, And I said it like it says it, but the middle name threw me off, and I'm like, well, I have thought one person was somebody else before, so I'll be careful.
No, same person.
Everybody is leaving chat. They're saying good night, so I have to make an announcement before everybody leaves. That so Kelly and I are off for 2 weeks. We will be back June 14th, and we're hoping to be talking about our Gettysburg stuff on June 14th because we're both going to be in Gettysburg together.
Yes.
Along with some other great people. So I can't wait for that. There is a show Sunday. The Skeptic and the Psychic with Jen and I will be on Sunday. But other than that, I'm off for a couple weeks. Off. So I'll be in Gettysburg for 5 or 6 days. But before that, I'll be in Maine for the whole weekend. So I will be busy.
Awesome.
I know, it merely crap stuff. I shouldn't have read it, but she did say it. So I agree. I'm going to do shout-outs real quick here because a lot of people came in, and I'm probably going to miss some. Kelly, you can do shout-outs. You're here. I already did them once.
Well, all right then.
That's your job.
So, shout-out. It is my job. A shout out to Matt and Darren, Wolf, Jen B, Shea, Len. I'm scrolling. They keep me scrolling. Sorry. Sarah, Cynthia. I think I already said Wolf. This is where I forget because I have the memory of a newt. I forget who I've said and who I haven't. Darren. Mama Pat's in there. Kim Purvis.
We got Ron. There's
a lot of chat.
There is. That's why I made sure I did it in the beginning too. Everybody loved the show. They were very excited. So
absolutely.
Tina,
and Ron, yes, joined in just now.
This flew by. Tina, throw out your social media. Tell everybody where to find you.
You can find me on Instagram under the South Jersey Medium. And you can find me on Facebook under Tina Marie, the South Jersey Medium. And that's where I'm at. On Facebook, my friends can find me. They know where they can find me. And you can approach me. I am approachable. If you see me out, you can approach me. I won't bite, I promise.
She's super sweet. I'll vouch for that.
Yeah,
I said on air I wouldn't bite. Kelly laughed at me, so.
That's because you would.
Just a little. Just a nibble. All right, guys. Tina, hold on a second.
Okay.
We will see everybody 2 weeks from today for Shea's Paranormal Chat. Again, June 14th. And be sure to join in on the Skeptic and the Psychic. We're going to be talking about some of Sis Paranormal Investigations, some Paracons, some other stuff. We have some announcements to be making, and they are being made on that show because, then again, I'm off. So 8 p.m. Eastern,
Wednesday
7
night.
Central. And I don't have my book, so that's Sunday.
I'll do a shameless plug. Wednesday night on the Realm Walker, I'm going to have Mike Ricksecker on the phone, or on the show. We're going to be talking about the upcoming Haunted Road Media Paracon that I'll be at next weekend. So join in for that. We'll hear about his adventures, him and Shauna, and then the guests that'll be at the Paracon and the speakers and everything. So lots of awesome people coming to that event too.
9 Eastern. We got
no
show Monday though, but be back Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So, but I will give everybody a rundown because I forgot my book. But I know there's no show Monday, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday there is. So, thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate it. And see you in a couple weeks or Sunday if you join us.
Love you guys.
Thank you for listening, and for all things Paranormal Buzz Radio related, check out our website at paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram.